Ethan Cole's boots hit the wet pavement as he hurried across the dimly lit street, his jacket pulled tight against the biting night air. He had just finished his second shift of the day, exhausted but fueled by a single thought: getting home to his 7-year-old daughter, Lily. She was his world, the reason he woke up each morning, the reason he kept pushing through long hours and aching bones. The streets of Boston were quieter than usual, rain slicking the asphalt, reflecting the glow of neon signs. Ethan quickened his pace, the weight of a grocery bag tugging at his arm. He had promised Lily her favorite dinner, mac and cheese with hot dogs, simple, cheap, but it always made her smile. Just as he rounded the corner near an abandoned overpass, a sound pierced the night. A scream, sharp, desperate, and filled with terror. Ethan froze, his heart lurching. It came again, weaker this time, from the shadows beyond the streetlights. Most people would have walked away. Most people would have told themselves it wasn't their problem, but Ethan wasn't most people. He dropped the groceries and sprinted toward the sound. There, beneath the rusted beams of the overpass, he saw her, a young woman, no older than 25, lying sprawled on the ground. Blood pooled beneath her side, glistening black in the moonlight. Her breaths were shallow, ragged. Her eyes, wide with panic, flickered to him as if clinging to the last thread of hope. "Help me," she whispered. Ethan's mind raced. No time to think. No time to question who she was or why she was here. He tore off his jacket, pressed it against the wound. "Stay with me," he urged, his voice trembling. "I've got you." Her skin was cold, her lips pale. He could feel her slipping. "Don't close your eyes. Come on, fight," Ethan shouted, his voice breaking the silence of the night. He grabbed his phone, dialing 911 with shaky fingers, giving them his location. But he knew the ambulance might not get here in time. His gaze darted around wildly. No cars. No people. Just him, the girl, and the relentless ticking of seconds. Then his eyes landed on an old pickup truck parked nearby, its keys dangling in the ignition as if abandoned. Ethan didn't think. He lifted her, light, fragile, like carrying his daughter when she was a baby, and ran. Her faint groan echoed in his ears. "I've got you. You're not dying on me tonight," he whispered fiercely, though fear clawed at his chest. He laid her gently on the passenger seat, blood soaking into the worn fabric, then slammed the truck into gear. Tires screeched as he sped into the night, his heart hammering. Every red light was ignored. Every horn blared behind him as he weaved through traffic, his eyes fixed on the road, his hand pressed against hers, grounding her to the world. "Stay awake," he pleaded. "Talk to me. What's your name?" Her eyelids fluttered. Maya. "Okay, Maya. My name's Ethan. I've got a little girl. She needs her dad, and I think someone out there needs you too. Don't you give up." She coughed, a weak smile tugging at her lips. "You're crazy, risking this." "Yeah, maybe," Ethan muttered, his throat tightening, "but I couldn't live with myself if I didn't try." By the time he screeched to the doors, hospital staff rushed out, dragging Maya onto a gurney. Ethan stumbled after them, his clothes drenched in blood that wasn't his. The nurse held up a hand. "Sir, you need to stay here." Ethan stopped, chest heaving. And just like that, Maya disappeared behind swinging double doors. Hours passed. Ethan sat slumped in the waiting room, hands shaking, replaying everything in his head. He thought about Lily asleep at home, probably curled with her stuffed rabbit, wondering where her daddy was. He thought about the stranger bleeding in his arms, how fragile life was, how close she had been to slipping away. Just as exhaustion threatened to pull him under, a sharp voice cut through. "You there? You brought her in?" Ethan lifted his head. A man in his late 50s, sharp suit, piercing eyes, stood over him. He radiated power, authority, the kind of presence Ethan recognized instantly from a lifetime of working-class labor. "Yes," Ethan rasped. The man's eyes narrowed. "What happened?" Ethan explained quickly. The scream, the wound, the truck, the race to the hospital. He didn't leave out a detail. The man's jaw tightened, but when Ethan finished, there was something in his expression that softened. "That girl," the man paused, his voice faltering for the first time. "She's my daughter." Ethan blinked, stunned. His chest tightened as the weight of it sank in. The stranger he had risked everything for, the blood, the danger, the desperate fight to save her, wasn't just anyone. She was the daughter of his CEO. The same CEO who owned the construction company where Ethan worked 12-hour shifts. The same CEO who never once knew his name, who signed paychecks that barely kept food on his table. Ethan's stomach twisted. "She's alive," the man continued quietly, "because of you." Ethan swallowed hard. Anyone would have done the same. But the man's eyes told him otherwise. When dawn broke, Ethan finally dragged himself home. Lily ran into his arms, hugging him tightly. He buried his face in her hair, whispering, "Daddy's here. Daddy's okay." He didn't tell her about the blood, the fear, the stranger whose life hung in the balance. Some things were too heavy for little shoulders. For days, Ethan expected nothing more. He had done what was right, not for recognition, not for reward, but because that's who he was. A man who couldn't walk away. But then, a week later, everything changed. At the construction site, whispers spread like wildfire. A black SUV pulled up, and out stepped the CEO himself, flanked by executives. And beside him, walking slowly, pale but smiling, was Maya. Every worker froze. No one ever saw the boss on site. The CEO's gaze locked on Ethan. He strode forward, his daughter by his side. "This is the man I told you about," the CEO announced, his voice carrying across the yard. "The man who saved my daughter's life." Ethan's co-workers stared, jaws dropping. Maya stepped forward, her eyes glistening. "You held me when I thought I was going to die. You didn't even know me, but you fought for me. I'll never forget that." Ethan shifted uncomfortably, unused to the spotlight. "I just did what anyone should." But Maya shook her head. "No, you did what most wouldn't." The CEO turned to the crowd, then back to Ethan. "From this day forward, Ethan Cole isn't just another worker. He's family. Whatever his daughter needs, this company will provide." Gasps rippled through the crew. Ethan felt his throat tighten, his knees weak. He thought of Lily, her laughter, her future, the life he'd always dreamed of giving her but never thought possible. For once, it wasn't just a dream. And all because one night, he chose not to look away.